Shares of Qualcomm and ARM both moving lower here in overtime. Qualcomm just took a leg lower for some reason after they both reported results moments ago. Let's bring in Creative Strategy CEO Ben Bajarin. Ben, good to see you. Head scratcher here on Qualcomm in particular, because not only did they have beats on the top and bottom line, they also had a strong guide and some particularly strong commentary out of China and the premium tier. I'm wondering what you think particularly of that premium tier performance from Qualcomm in China, where some people have continue to be worried about the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're addressing this concerns about when the China market will actually recover. I mean, I think it's interesting commentary coming from the strength of their premium tier when it looks like, right, some of that did impact Apple when you looked at Apple's quarters last year, particularly to China. I think it's a really good sign that you're seeing momentum there. It also feels like they're guiding and continuing to see that momentum into the March quarter. And I think it shows the Chinese consumer is, again, investing in Chinese brands, willing to spend more. And I think there's a real interesting dynamic coming to China where you're actually seeing the market start to subsidize smartphones. That's happened in January. So even with their bullish guide for coming into the next quarter, is not really looking at those subsidies as a part of it. I think the subsidies create a nice upside, but just shows they're gaining in China, and the China smartphone consumer is definitely returning, but again with a preference to local brands in the premium tier.
Those local brands in China have been first movers in AI application. Not sure how much of that is driving their share gains versus Apple. But Apple hasn't really launched Apple Intelligence in China yet. So I have to wonder how durable that share is at the premium tier. Also, what you make of this post-DeepSeek argument from companies including Qualcomm that, hey, actually, that means that these models are small enough to run at the edge, and that means there's going to be demand for our chips.
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely opens up a lot of opportunities. I think having these reasoning models being shown they can run at the edge, which have particularly been compute constrained, is a positive. I think the key now is what do developers do with that, right? I think we're on the cusp of a developer frontier to start to develop these apps, which is going to, again, benefit everybody. The names we're talking about, obviously here, Qualcomm and ARM will benefit from that as well. Handset OEMs, like we do anticipate that to happen, but we're still yet to see the concrete examples. So I think that's still a wait and see, but I'm confident the shape of that market will be more positive when we see more of this AI at the edge. But definitely DeepSeek's going to help create more of that demand for that compute at the edge.
Ben, what do you make of the results we just got from ARM, especially as the company talked about AI demand continuing to drive strong momentum for the ARM ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things to point to, right? I think people are sensitive to, and they've been modeling ARM based on V9 royalties. And I think that staying flat was a little bit of a concern. But I think the point that now they're starting to see CSS revenues start to come into play is important. CSS revenues for V9 are actually higher than normal V9. MediaTek uses that in their new chip. MediaTek's also seeing from the same dynamics that Qualcomm has. So I think that's a positive. That's a positive that's going to continue to carry into this year on the back of those royalties. And again, what's interesting is ARM is certainly, loosely but somewhat connectedly being tied to the AI trade because their IP seems central to so many of the hyperscalers as they start to make their own ARM CPUs, which includes those ARM v9 and those CSS licenses. And I think the expectation is we'll continue to see that grow on a continued up ramp through as those chips ship both to their data center and to customers over the course of this year.